Hey, good day, everyone. 7 things emotionally intelligent people don't do. One of the things that you should really study, there's books on emotional intelligence. I highly recommend. There's two, actually. There's one and two that are very good. I unfortunately can't remember the names right now off the top of my head, but the bottom line is they're really fantastic, and I think you should really understand what emotional intelligence is and how it can affect you and your business and your life as well. So here we go. The restaurant manager who speaks with poise and grace to the patron complaining loudly about the wait service, the level-headed friend you call in your greatest times of need, the compassionate but composed rescue worker who aids victims after a natural catastrophe, the partner who angers rarely, forgives easily, and assumes accountability for their actions, the successful CEO who balances their professional, their family responsibilities, and their personal hobbies with equal measure of calm and confidence. What do these people have in common? In 2 words, emotional intelligence, a relatively new trend in the realm of pop culture and psychology today. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, has existed since the beginning of time, according to Psychology Today, the preeminent site for mental health education and information. Emotional intelligence is defined as an aptitude for identifying and managing emotions, the emotions of others. It consists of 3 primary skills: the ability to analyze interior emotions, the feelings of those around them, and the capacity to apply emotions to tasks, and the facility to take control of emotions, whether it's managing their own before they veer out of control, or having the strength and capability to make another person smile, settle down, or handle a situation appropriately. Those with high emotional IQs have been proven to enjoy more prosperity in life. I think that's what we all want, right? So this is something you should study. Whether they're in social or professional environment, they thrive. Studies demonstrate they have fewer mental health issues, including depression and anxiety. Their personal lives aren't train wrecks precisely because they're lived from the point of thoughtful and meaningful decisions. They outperform others, excel at their jobs, are happy in their relationships, and consistently work towards attaining positive results in all aspects of life. So the question is, what don't they do? Here are 7 things emotionally intelligent people, as a rule, avoid. In other words, they don't do. 1, they don't get caught up in other people's dramas. One of the hallmarks of emotional intelligence is empathy, and those who have high EQs extend it to everyone they cross. But there's an enormous difference between displaying empathy towards a friend or a loved one and allowing another person's rage or misery to incense, dominate, or merely influence one's well-being. Think of the histrionic behavior of your coworker who is distraught, not because she's going through a breakup, but because her friend is. Or that the cousin of yours who, instead of focusing on their individual personal crisis, purposely seeks out people who are distressed so that their problems disappear via distraction. A habit so ingrained she can't seem to address the complications in her own life. Emotionally intelligent people, on the other hand, listen carefully, provide gentle, loving, but authoritative advice, and offer assistance, but they don't permit others' lives and reactions to rule their own lives. Number 2, they don't complain. Ooh, this is a big one. I have a lot of complainers, boy. That is something. Those are people you always want to avoid. Whining and grumbling implies 2 things. 1, that we are victims. And 2, there are no solutions to our problems. Rarely does an emotionally intelligent person feel victimized. And even more infrequently does an emotionally intelligent person feel that a solution is beyond their grasp. Instead of looking for someone or something to blame, they immediately think of how to constructively address the dilemma. They also know that their complaints influence the emotional response of those around them, and instead search for ways to bemoan the solution of a relationship or a disappointment with a friend in private. Effective ways, whether it's taking a yoga class, meditating alone at a park, or simply getting their feelings out on a page. Number 3, they don't always say yes to others and themselves. Like empathy, self-control and conviction are sure signs of an emotionally solid person. Emotionally intelligent people are well aware that a second glass of wine will lead to negative consequences the next morning, just as they know that an invitation to go on a spontaneous weekend rendezvous will distract them from fulfilling their pre-existing commitments. They are definitive about their decisions rather than saying, I don't know, or maybe, or Perhaps I'll skip the gym today, which invites doubt. With that heightened anxiety, even depression, the more often emotionally intelligent people exercise their right to say no, and more frequently they rely on their willpower, the freer they are to concentrate on their ambitions and overall well-being. For they don't gossip. Emotionally acute people sidestep gossip as determinedly as they skirt drama. To involve themselves in scandalous talk they know is to shame another for a supposed error, and an emotionally intelligent person understands all humans are equally deserving, and what others might perceive as a mistake is an opportunity for improvement. 5, they don't count on others for happiness or confidence. Emotionally intelligent people are self-sufficient in all manners of life, including their contentment and peace of mind. They have learned that to bank on someone else making them feel joyful or worthy is to put themselves at risk for disappointment and hopelessness. Rather, they take their emotions in their hands and find hobbies that delight them, strive for achievement that will lead to a sense of self-worth, and search within for love and acceptance. And 6, they don't engage in negative self-talk. This is huge, folks. While few of us are entirely immune to thinking or saying pessimistic statements that begin with I'm unattractive, I should have done better, I'm pathetic, emotionally intelligent people have the ability to curb cynical thoughts before they fall down the proverbial rabbit hole. Instead, they rely on facts to come to conclusions. For some, it's a mere glance at their experience and accomplishments outlined on their CVs. For others, it's their appearance of a clean and organized house or an internal analysis of what they've done right. After all, emotionally intelligent people acknowledge that negative thoughts are just that, thoughts, just as they recognize that the derogatory interior voices they hear are theirs to turn down, tune out, or silence completely. And finally, 7, they don't dwell on the past. You know, the one thing that I've learned, and Eckhart Tolle is one of the great authors in relation to, thinking about, being in the now. The one thing I've learned is that there is no other time than now. The past doesn't exist. It's already over with. You can't do anything to affect the past. The future isn't here yet, so it doesn't exist either. So in every moment of our lives, the only time there is now. The only time we get out of this now period, this now time, is when we start, lamenting the past, about past mistakes or whatever, or worrying about future occurrences, what could or couldn't, or what may or may not happen. And so when you're either in the past or in the future, you're not living now. You're not living your best moments now. And so the more you can get in the now, the more successful you're going to be. All the things that you want to create for the future, by the way, happen now. The things you do now create your future right now, as I like to call them. So people who exist more in their past than in their present are susceptible to a barrage of mental and spiritual grievances, from regret and nostalgia to agitation and trepidation. Emotionally intelligent people honor their past, the people they have loved, the mistakes they have made, the opportunities they have eschewed, but are mindful of the importance of living squarely in the here and now. By learning from the past instead of dwelling on it, the emotionally intelligent have the power to inform their present without diminishing their ability to advance or harness 3 of the most vital emotions of all: self-satisfaction, gratitude, and hope.